Welcome to the Impact Lounge. Feel the sound. Legends in the ring making moves all around. We got the fire, the heart, the stories untold. This is our moment. Watch the magic unfold. Welcome to the Impact Lounge, where we reign. Kings and queens of the ring breaking chains. We taking wrestling to a whole new height. Under bright lights, we ignite the fight. Genesis to rebellion. The crowd still chanting.
All right, what's going on, jobbers? It is your boy BQ.
And a kick out.
This is the Negative BQ YouTube channel. This is your Impact Lounge TNA Impact review for July 31st, 2025. This is the Tuesday morning review. I was out of town over the weekend, which, I mean, I watched the show. I thought, okay, I'll be able to record Monday morning, no problem, like I normally do. But I don't know. I think when you're out of town and then you get caught up having to do stuff at night and then doing it the next morning, I flat out couldn't do it. I just didn't have the time. So doing it this Tuesday morning, and we're gonna get into this one time for your mind. This episode of TNA Impact.
TNA Impact. Oh.
And I thought the episode was pretty solid. I thought it was a good bounce back from the live episode. I mean, the live episode didn't bother me so much, but I know a lot of you didn't particularly enjoy it because I think you just expected more out of it, and it was it was a little storyline driven, not a whole lot of wrestling, which is kind of cool for me, I guess. I always say that I don't really enjoy long matches or just like too much wrestling, and it's, for me, it's kind of an ADHD thing. At least when people are cutting promos and they're doing storyline stuff, it's different. Everyone talks different. Everyone, the storylines are going different directions. You know what I mean? When you're watching a wrestling match, thank God TNA is not so bad with it, but you're just kind of seeing the same shit and the same moves and all that, so I need to break things up. So, even though I might think some of these Masha Slamovich promos are the shits, you know what I mean? At least it's like breaking up the show for me to where I'm not just watching nonstop wrestling all the time, which is why I really don't enjoy watching the TNA Plus shows. Even though I think they're good, I always like dread watching because I'm just like, so much wrestling, because I'm the worst wrestling fan on the planet, straight up. You know what I mean? There's no way to disguise that. So let's get into it. The very first match. Let's bring it back just a little bit. Your ring announcer for the evening is Mackenzie Mitchell.
Ding bong, ding dong, he's Stone Cold.
Can't bury the lead there. First match was for the X Division Championship.
The limit does not exist.
We had challengers Cedric Alexander.
My name is Optimus Prime.
We had Jason Hotch representing the Good Hand Jobs.
Hey, for another 60, I'll jerk you off in the parking garage.
And the X Division champion Leon Slater.
Hey here, I'm in charge.
Do you feel in charge?
Now, good old Hannafin let us know, and this was actually shocking, that this was the first multi-person, I shouldn't say multi-person, because we've had Ultimate X and all that. It was the first three-way, triple threat, whatever you want to call it, match for the X Division Championship in over a year. That was shocking to me because I feel like every time that title's on the line, it's some kind of multi-person match. So, cool. However, it gave me bad. It's a good thing. It means we're getting a lot more one-on-one matches, but we're kind of going back in time to where X Division champion put the title on the lines versus whoever. Jason Hotch has like never won a match. Cedric Alexander's never won a match in TNA. So now these two guys, I want to apologize, by the way. Last episode, I mentioned that they didn't want to push Cedric Alexander because he didn't come from WWE. Of course he came from WWE. I'm a freaking idiot. In my head, I was thinking he came from Ring of Honor because I know he did once upon a time. So that's kind of where I messed up with that. So I apologize. But my concern was that he just wasn't on the episode. He lost at a pay-per-view, wasn't on the episode. So I was like, is he just another guy on the show? So I'll get back to that, what I was saying in a second. But we're getting back to random X Division title matches because the champion is a fighting champion, which is one of the laziest storylines in wrestling. So now we're just defending the belt, against guys who, one guy lost his match, his feud at Slammiversary. The other guy doesn't beat anybody, but we're going to defend the title. You know what I mean? So regarding Cedric Alexander, there's no way this dude is signed. At first, he comes on and we're saying, oh well, this is a huge get for TNA. This dude, there is no way this guy is going to be. I mean, I might have to give him the Nick Nemeth soundbite. Nick Nemeth probably needs a new soundbite, by the way, because he's, the one I use for him is I won't be around next year. He's here. You know what I mean? And I didn't know he's part of the brain trust at TNA. So he looks like he's going to kind of be here long term. So he probably needs a new soundbite. Maybe Cedric Alexander needs this one. There's no way with the way this guy is being booked so far, and we're going to talk about it more. I'm not saying it's all negative, but the way it's being presented on TV so far is of someone who's here for a couple months, and we need to squeeze everything out of him as much as possible. That's why he wrestled Ali to one match. One of the longest running storylines the company had led to one match at Slammiversary, which I'm always saying I don't, I'm so tired of the wrestle 2, 3, 4 times or whatever. So I don't want to contradict what I'm saying, but that's probably the one feud that could have stood to have them wrestle a few times, and they just cut it off. So that just tells me they're going to move Cedric to the next thing. He's going to wrestle for the X Division Championship. He's going to lose. He's going to wrestle for the world title. He's going to lose, and then he's going to be gone. So it just does not feel like he is around long term. Of course, I could be wrong, which I often am. This was a good 3-way match. It was pretty quick and painless. This was not something. This was not a pay-per-view worthy match. This was just X Division. Car crash, throw it together. And this motherfucker Hannafin, it was only 30 minutes. That's 30 minutes. Jesus, 30 seconds into the match. First pin attempt of the match. 30 seconds into this thing. Oh, and a kick out. Was that fucking necessary? Seriously? Don't you want to save your fake and a kickouts for the actual near falls in important matches that might be happening at the end of the match? He almost came out of his freaking seat for the first pinfall of the match. When he throws the O on there, that signifies that he is shocked. You know what I'm saying? This guy just goes through the motions on commentary. These guys got re-signed long term. They signed new deals. So, I mean, we were talking about in the Impact Lounge group on Facebook. Who else are they going to get? They've had way worse commentary teams. I don't like them, but I don't think I've liked anybody. I don't think I like any commentary team in wrestling, to be honest with you. I mean, let's see. Do we got the soundbite? Yeah. Okay, so TNA, WWE, NXT, NWA, MLW, Women of Wrestling. I mean, it's all bad across the board. You know what I'm saying? That the commentary is. Did I do it? I did not throw it in there. AEW. All right. I'm not even gonna throw Ring of Honor because Ring of Honor is the one that's not that good. But I mean, that is good. But I mean, everyone else is bad. So I mean, who else are you gonna go out there and get? It's whatever. Most of you actually do like Hannafin's work. I just like to make fun of him and complain about him and Ray Wall, who was. I mean, clearly they signed new deals because Ray Wall was in rare form this episode of how horrible he was.
Hey, man, I really appreciate that Patrick Price on my insurance, Jake from State Farm.
His jokes were so bad this episode, and just I don't know. He's the one that's is bad, but whatever. It's not like there's other options out there. It helps to have some kind of continuity as well. You don't want to just kind of keep switching people out. So it's whatever. I don't. As far as TNA Plus goes, I didn't purchase the. What do you do? You can pay the 12 months in advance, and those people have access to the Fade to Black or whatever the hell they call that stuff for TNA for Slammiversary. That which I've always been asking them to do original content on there, and they're finally doing it. But I saw a clip of Hannafin talking in his normal voice. I'm just like, why doesn't he do his commentary like that? That's what he did in WWE. It was just his normal voice. So I don't, all this, the pirate noises and that. I don't. I don't know. We're talking about this way too long. So it's whatever. This was standard X Division match of like, let's just do it and then tease the match we really want at the end, which was a little stare down between Cedric Alexander and Leon Slater, the youngest in charge. Then we went backstage with the interview. There's no Gia Miller, so we had Gabby DeSpiza.
Doesn't even go here.
And they're letting her talk again. Her guest was Director of Waste Management, Masha Slamovich.
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
I feel like I need to find a soundbite of Chris Jericho, like, will you please shut up? So this was fine. I mean, it's all fake promo with Masha. You know what I'm saying? I just think that she could afford to be the strong silent type a little bit. And I mean, she's talking every episode. And I understand you got to learn at some point. But I mean, last week I talked about the Leon Slater promo, right? I said, yo, take note of someone speaking from the heart. Mike Santana later, take note of someone speaking from the heart. You know what I'm saying? But this was one of her better ones. So I don't want to bury it too much. I'm not just going to say every time she comes out there that it's horrible. I don't like them. I wish she would talk a lot less, but you know, this was fine. This was fine. And then we get Leon Slater and Cedric Alexander backstage. This was not good. This was a really short segment where they're teasing again the match they really want to give us. But this was not good. Like, they were the weird, like, bad comedy, playful jabs back and forth came off kind of dumb. It went too, I say it was quick. It actually kind of went too long because Leon Slater is sitting here saying, it seemed like they were on two different pages, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Leon Slater's like, hey, I'm a fighting champion, but I'm a fighting champion, so let's give the match the people want to see. And then Cedric Alexander is trying to justify why he should have a title match. He starts going, you didn't beat me. You didn't pin me yet. No shit. That's what Leon Slater's getting at. It like, this was really awkward and clunky, and I don't know why they didn't redo it. And maybe you guys didn't catch on it. Maybe I'm, I nitpick way too much. Obviously I do. That's kind of my thing. But to me, they were on two completely different pages, and I thought this backstage interaction for what it was actually really, really bad. Then we got knockouts tag team action after this. We have so many knockouts that everything's going to be a tag team match. Everything is going to have run-ins because they have to pay them per appearance. So we're just going to get like 6 to 8 knockouts every episode. The roster is so big, it's like there's just no way around it. You look at Explosion, they're knockouts tag team matches, they're random 4-way knockouts matches, so that's just what they got to do. But this included Indy Hartwell.
How long did it take you to learn English once you got here?
It was really easy because we speak English in Australia, you fucking idiot.
Her tag team partner was the leader of the Mewtwo movement, Danny Luna.
God damn, bit like Mewtwo.
Their opponents, Jumpin' Jody Threat. I don't know why I said Jumpin'. Like back in the day, Jumpin' Jim Brunzell. Just Jumpin' Jody Threat. I don't know. I just want to say. But anyway, it is Jody Threat.
I just felt like running.
And her tag team partner, Ariana Grande.
I'm sorry that people are so jealous of me, but I can't help it that I'm popular.
Ariana Grande Grace. You remember Ariana Grace, like a month and a half, 2 months ago, was crying on social media because her time in TNA was done. And then two tapings later, she's back. So it was like that one ridiculous episode where they're crying because the Rascals left, and then Trey Miguel shows up 2 months later. So anyway, she's back, which I'm not mad at. Trust me. I'm all good with her on my screen. I have no issues with this. But it is a tag team match that Ariana Grace, I guess, put together, even though there's no NXT women involved here. But she put this together for Tough Love or something like that, so that Jody Threat could wrestle Danny Luna. So they're a couple minutes into this, and then we get an appearance of the mentor, Victoria Crawford.
My favorite match was with Melina and Alicia Fox.
And they're finding something interesting for Victoria Crawford to do. I was not a fan of them signing her. I've never thought she was good. I've always thought she was like a candidate for really hurting somebody in the ring. But this like mentor thing, again, I kind of tied it to the Madison Rain locker room leader thing. I think it is a good role for her. She doesn't necessarily have to be in Tessa Blanchard's corner. She can introduce us to new girls on Explosion. She can try to recruit girls. She can be a mouthpiece manager, whatever. So there's a few directions this can go. And they're finding something to do with her, with Tessa Blanchard being off screen. I have a question for you guys. Shout out to Ryan Colby Cooper, because he's the one that kind of got this conversation going in the group on Facebook. All right. He said, he called her, why doesn't Tessa Blanchard be hometown woman? I'm gonna say it like this. Why doesn't Tessa Blanchard come out in a lucha mask? If Cody Deaner, who was fired on the show, okay, he wasn't suspended, he was fired. He was terminated. Like, we're not going to pay you anymore. All right, like, period. You're done. There's a stipulation. It was a match stipulation that he was fired. If he can come back under a mask, and Santino can play dumb and say, I'm not aware of any Cody Deaner in this company, even though you have to sign some sort of contract, right, with a legal name on it. Like, it's all stupid, all right? If the hometown man can get away with showing up in this company and being backstage and just being under a mask, why can't Tessa Blanchard run out in a lucha mask? Because it's a fake, phony wrestling show.
Fake and a phony, and I wish I'd never laid eyes on you.
Anyway, the knockouts match was fine. I thought Indy Hartwell was going to get the win because they're pushing her a little harder than I would like. Okay, Indy Hartwell should not be undefeated. I'm all good with what they're doing with her and giving her a chance to show what she can do, but she should not come in and dominate the division. But she is always on the winning side one way or another, whether she gets the pin. I think I understand they want her to wrestle Bound for Glory. She's probably going to take the title off JC Jane, which is going to be TNA booking. But I think they're pushing her a little hard, in my opinion. Whatever. Actually, when Indy came out, it panned to the audience, and it was a smaller TV audience, but I still can't get over these large crowds. It just, every time I see it for TV, even though it did show a lot of empty seats, this was night 2 of the taping, whatever, I still just can't get over how much louder the audience was. So much props on that. So the story that they were kind of telling in here was that Jody Threat was kind of afraid to hit Danny Luna. Danny Luna didn't care. They're doing something here with Victoria Crawford. Either Jody Threat is going to swerve and become a heel, or Danny Luna's going to join them and be a heel. I think I can see Danny Luna joining Victoria Crawford and Tessa Blanchard, as kind of a triple thing. I see that. Could be wrong, whatever. But it could be Jody Threat too. All right. I mean, I hope not. I don't think Jody Threat teamed up with Tessa Blanchard. I don't think that really works, but it's whatever. Indy Hartwell and Danny Luna get the win. A Luna landing's probably one of the better moves in this company. It's one of the cooler names in this company, that's for sure. It's not a driver or a DDT, you know what I mean? So Danny Luna gets a win. She's getting a little bit of a push. So, we'll see what happens with what they do here. Matt Raywall, who was just on point all episode with his phenomenal commentary, was like, Indy Hartwell wants to be Knockouts champion sooner or later. No shit, sooner or later. We all want to do something sooner or later. That's the talk of someone procrastinating. You mean she wants to be the Knockouts champion sooner than later? Freaking guy. All right. So let's move on from this show that features nothing but
lazy booking.
All right, so we had a backstage of naked Jake something yelling at the camera.
Loud noises! I don't know what we're yelling about!
Of course, he has no shirt on, like he just finished competing in a match, which he did not. He was backstage yelling that he beat Mance Warner. Mance Warner, I mean, dude, this guy doesn't beat anybody. Holy shit. You have a storyline with Sami Callihan like potentially retiring, but you had him win the Mance Warner feud, and then he walks into a title match, loses the Jake something. I mean, is he going to beat anybody? He's not even winning in garbage matches. That's the thing. What is he like? He beat Sami Callihan once. He's like 1-2 wrestling his specialty, the garbage match. So, I mean, how are we supposed to believe he's going to beat anybody going forward, especially in a one fall to a finish match? But I don't know, because I think they got something going with that act. And Lord knows they need some kind of like strong heels, but I mean, this company only knows how to make baby faces win, when it matters. So I don't know. I mean, they can't go wrong here. They got baby faces against each other for Jake something and Macklin, who, speaking of Steve Macklin,
Do the ass kicking around here.
Wait your turn, jarhead.
like 10 seconds into this Jake something promo, he just randomly walks up, clearly standing right there in front of him. He didn't come from the side, from behind. He came up from the front, meaning that Jake something, who was yelling at the camera, should have seen him coming, but of course he didn't, because he, of course, is not going to see him unless he's standing there 2 feet away from him. Fake phony wrestling show.
Fake and a phony, and I wish I'd never laid eyes on you.
And then Tom Hannafin no sells it, just says tensions are running high in TNA anyway, and starts moving on to the next match. And the next match that we had here was the Nemeths. We had Ryan Nemeth.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
And his big brother, Nick Nemeth.
I've been talking to people walking here. We've been talking about next year, and I'm sitting there saying, I'm not going to be here.
As I said, I probably need to come up with a new bite for him, and I will think about it. They take on the Rascals.
In one word, would I use dope? Nope.
This is Trey Miguel, Myron Reed. I wish they would just say Myron Reed is part of the Rascals instead of this original Rascal shit and just acting like he's not. Like, why can't they just be a 3-man group like they used to be? I have a great soundbite idea for Myron Reed. I just cannot find a good one. Like, I know what I'm looking for. I just can't find it nice and crystal clear. There's lots of options out there for this particular bite. I just cannot find it, and it's driving me absolutely crazy. So, good match. Rascals win. Why? All right. The Nemeth brothers are the #1 contenders. Shout out Laredo Kid for the tag team titles. Okay? They're going to feud with the Hardys forever. Why did they lose this match? Did the Rascals need the win? Did they need the momentum? No, it's because the babyface has to win the match for whatever damn reason. Have the Nemeth brothers ever beat anybody? Aside from when they won the tag team championships, have they beat anybody? I'm sure they had a successful title defense. They had to have. I feel like they beat the Rascals. I feel like they've wrestled the Rascals 500 times. But I feel like they did beat them once defending the titles. Other than that, dude, these guys win. Ryan Nemeth, one half of the tag team champions, one half of the former tag team champions. Like, I have never seen him pin somebody, I don't think. We don't know what his finisher is. I mean, if these guys are the ones you want to feud with the Hardys, I understand he's kind of a comedy character, kind of a jobber character, but I mean, shouldn't he win sometimes? I don't really understand that. But the match ends. And like, I get it. Maybe you don't want to just beat the Rascals too much, but what else are they doing? They're not even in full freaking health right now. So who cares if Myron Reed takes a loss? You know what I'm saying? So this went on really, really long. The Nemeth brothers stayed in the ring for entirely too long, talking, cutting a promo. And it's funny, right before Ryan talks, you hear a fan from the crowd saying, "Ryan, you suck, buddy." But I mean, it just went on forever and ever. And then Nick Nemeth says, for those of you who are pre-law like myself, you know that there's a rematch clause. Is Tom Hannafin pre-law? Because he lets us know every 30 seconds about the contractually obligated rematch. So that's what I'm just saying. This was just so long. It took forever. It insulted our intelligence. It didn't end. It just seemed like they didn't know where they were going with it, and then they kind of got back on track. They're going to wrestle at Emergence, by the way. The Hardys didn't pin them. That's they lost their titles, but the Hardys didn't pin them. Well, the Rascals just pinned them. So why would they lose this match? But anyway, it just went on forever, and then it was kind of like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to dog Rhode Island. So then they start talking all this shit about Rhode Island, the lack of sports teams, the food, the whatever. I would imagine the food is not bad in Rhode Island, by the way. I would imagine that the seafood is pretty fresh out there. Like BQ would eat in Rhode Island. BQ would go to Rhode Island to see, you know what I'm saying? But I'm sure also the Rhode Island fans are probably Boston sports fans and all that. So, I mean, come on. But anyway, as they're rambling and rambling, much like I'm doing right now, we get the music of the hometown man.
Everyone in this room is now dumber.
And then they try to say you're Cody Deaner, but he cuts him off and says, hometown man. And then Nick says, no, you're the hometown man. I don't know why that shit made me pop. Like, it's fucking bad. It's just, I don't know why that just, as I said, I'm kind of coming around on the Cody Deaner thing, but it just went so long. The promo wasted so much freaking TV time. And then they unmask him. And it's not serious. The goof ref runs down to try to break it up, and he's got security, and it just still never ending, and it just keeps going. And then the Rascals finally decide they want to run back down, and it is just never ending. And well, finally it ends. I mean, I thought the show was over at this point, but finally this whole thing ended. Then Tom Hannafin says, "We will hear from Mike Santana next." And then we hear from King of the Block Party.
It's a block party. I'm not playing with y'all, bro.
Frankie Kazarian. So we did not hear from Mike Santana next. We heard from King of the Block Party. Oh my God, I had a Carlos Silva soundbite and I forgot to load it. Oh my God. But anyway, Frankie Kazarian is talking backstage, and Frankie does good work, folks. But I mean, they have nothing for this guy. Nothing. Fortunately, they can just insert him wherever they need to, and he kind of makes it work. But I mean, what the commentary, the matches, the backstage stuff, it all leads to nothing. Like, he doesn't have a storyline. You know what I mean? It was just like, here, carry this big trophy around so you can look like you have a story. We have no plan for you. They have absolutely no plan for this dude. They have no one for him to work with, no one for him to feud with. For some reason, he needs to have a sit down with Carlos Silva, probably because no one's booking him in anything meaningful. And he said, "Bring your hat." He called Tom Hannafin a mark, by the way. That I enjoyed that. But he told Carlos Silva, "Bring your hat." I had this soundbite from Old School where he told Don Bishop Magic Wand, he's like, "Bring your green hat." So that'll be the Carlos Silva soundbite when I find it. But it's God, what the hell's the Old School actor? I can't remember his name. I'm so bad with like names of famous people. You have no idea. I'm bad with names of wrestlers. You clearly see that. There's wrestlers on the TNA roster now that I don't know what their names are. So I have coworkers that I don't know their names. They'll be like, "Hey, what's up, Q?" Because everyone calls me Q. "What's up, Q?" I'm just like, finger guns. Hey there, you. You feel me? So anyway, God, why can't I think of his name? The famous guy from Old School. Holy shit. Anyway, let's move on because we're talking about Old School way, way too much. So then we do hear from Mike Santana next.
That's nasty.
And again, like all you motherfuckers, Masha Slamovich, like take Jody Threat too. You can also take note of a guy. And I get it. Mike Santana is one of one. Okay. He is unlike anybody else. All right. But Frankie Kazarian, prior to this, someone else, even though he's in character, kind of speaking from the heart. By the way, in that promo, he said he got yanked from commentary. I don't know what he's talking about, but I also don't listen to the commentary if I can. But I'm saying Frankie Kazarians, we got back-to-back promos. Him, Mike Santana here. And again, Mike Santana, there's no one else like him cutting these promos. But you see the difference of someone speaking from here rather than getting a microphone and reciting these lines that they wrote down earlier, that pandering to the crowd, and I scratched and I clawed and I did this and this using wrestling terminology. You know what I'm saying? The only mistake here, not the mistake, but I mean, it's something I care about. You probably don't. Is he's cutting this great promo because about his daughter crying because he didn't get the job done. He will get the job done, I promise you. But real from the heart, and then just has to pander and say each and every one of you. So that's now becoming a Mike Santana thing. That's the only like flaw in his promos is pandering to the audience. But very good as usual with him. You know, I've always said I'm not like his biggest fan. We're both Puerto Rican, so I should love the guy, right? I've always said I'm not a big Mike Santana fan, and I've just based it on meeting him a couple times and, you know, no interaction, no eye contact, nothing, just really one of those like, here's your autograph, now leave kind of guys. And I'm like, well, maybe it was me. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's my interaction with him. You know what I mean? But I forgot who I was talking to. Maybe it's my dude, Pat. I think he said it was a friend of his or something that had that stated a very similar experience, that he just, you know, he's just done with you very quickly. But yeah, I always base a lot of my fandom on personal interaction. So like my personal interaction with AJ Francis was, mwah, you know, really sat there and bullshitted with me for a while. So now you know, that helps me become a fan of AJ Francis. And you know, there's a couple other guys out there. EC3 sits and talks to me. Even though I think he's a little washed as a wrestler, you know what I mean? I'm still a really big fan of his. Man, my guy Rusev, fellow Clipper fan. I know I got the Nets hat on, but I actually love the Nets also. They are the Clippers of New York. So I do like the Nets very much. But, you know, I'm obviously a huge Clippers fan, as is Rusev / Miro, you know. The only Clipper fan I don't like is one of the Young Bucks. I think it's Nick Jackson's a Clipper fan. I hate the Young Bucks. So cool. I'll fist pound you. I'll fucking fist you. No, I'll fist bump you when I see you, Clippers fan. Boom. But why did I start talking about the Clippers? I'm just I am off my meds. I'm off my Adderall. I had my medication, my appointment yesterday to refill my medication. So we're just getting into all this shit. I was talking about Mike Santana, and then I started talking about wrestlers I like talking to, but he is not one of them. We'll just put it like that. Next here we had the director of waste management, Masha Slamovich. So she is wrestling here. It is her contractual rematch. She is taking on the TNA Knockouts champion, JC Jane.
This is that group with George Michael.
And I wrote in my notes, Ash by Elegance will interfere in this match. Why?
Lazy booking.
We know this ahead of time. They're not going to give us JC Jane versus Masha Slamovich again that quickly, and they're obviously going to give it to us later down the line. So the match for what it was, for the few minutes they did wrestle, was good. JC Jane is good. Okay, I told you guys that when the Cora Jade feud was going on with Masha, you know, she moves on to JC Jane. I said JC Jane's a lot better than Cora, so don't think we're getting that kind of match. And I think she has a lot of potential. She's one of the NXT people they bring over that I do like being on the show. Okay, so the match was, for what we got out of it, was pretty good. And then what happens? Exactly what I said. Ash by Elegance comes down, interferes in the match, throws it out. I'm going to rewind to the beginning of this match a little bit. Mackenzie Mitchell is doing a very good job ring announcing. Okay, I think she's doing very good. For the title matches, she's becoming Samantha Irvin. Samantha Irvin to me is the worst ring announcer in the history of wrestling. And I know that is a hot topic because there's some people who think she's the best. Okay, so we're speaking about BQ's opinion. I would listen to Dave Penzer over her. Okay, I think she is horrible, stretching out every single word. Mackenzie Mitchell does that for the title matches now, and they brought off a knockoff. I was watching a WWE pay per view, whatever it was, and they brought on a knockoff Samantha Irvin who does the same style of ring announcing. I'm just, oh God, because she was one of the reasons I can't watch the show. So when she left, I'm like, okay, they should have a better ring announcer, and then it's a knockoff doing the same shit. Mackenzie Mitchell believes that is the standard, obviously. So when she is announcing the title matches, it's the World Knockouts Championship. Please stop. Please fucking stop. I'm begging you, Mackenzie Mitchell. I'm begging you. Do not. Samantha Irvin is not the fucking standard. Like, please do not. But anyway, Ash obviously was going to break this up. We knew this was going to happen. And then she has a confrontation with Fatal Influence, which I feel like the Elegance brand missed their cue a little bit. I feel like they came out very late for this because it was showing Ash again, like almost 1-on-3 for a little bit, and you don't put heels in that scenario, especially when it's all heels in the ring. But ultimately, M by Elegance runs out.
Can't get Maggie to sleep.
And I was gonna play the Ash by. I didn't hit Ash by Elegance a soundbite. Got to do it.
Come on, Teddy. Come on, Teddy.
But Heather by Elegance ran out with her.
He has an erection.
Yeah. It's all her fault.
And as I said, they're going to shoehorn as many possible knockouts on the show as possible now, in order to pay everybody their appearance fees. So that's why we have a knockouts title, tag team match at one point with Victoria Crawford coming down, and then we have like, I guess they're not paying the NXT girls, but total. No, I think they do get paid extra, but we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're at 6, and then add 2 more, 8, because after this is going down, for whatever reason, Masha Slamovich, who's not even involved with it at this point, for whatever reason, out comes Laying Lee
From Chingchong, China.
And Queen of the Rubber match, Xia Brookside. Xia Brookside and Laying Lee got something real sweet going on in their deals right now because they don't even have to wrestle. They just have to run down every single time Masha Slamovich does, who wrestles a lot. They just have to come down, show up. They're not even dressed to compete. They're not Jake something coming out in their wrestling gear. Like they're Xia Brookside look very good, by the way, but they're just out there in their normal gear, whatever. And it's such a mess. Like Ray Wall, who just chef's kiss his commentary this episode. Ray Wall goes, he's talking about the pandemonium and all that shit, whatever that's going on. He's like, they're all vying for, and speaking in my accent now, not my accent, in my voice, he said they're all vying for, and then he couldn't finish the sentence because he has no idea what they're doing. They're just all running out there. So then he changes it from they're all vying for, they're all colliding, because what is this for? You just all these. You can sit there and be like, well, it's for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. But no, they're not teasing any of these wrestling for the Tag Team Championships, because Ash is the one that is causing the issues as the number one contender for the Knockouts title, not as the Tag Team Champion. It's all fucking stupid. I don't know. Ash is obviously going to lose her title match, and maybe they're going to end up wrestling Fatal Influence. I don't know. They're all heels. It's probably going to be, it's TNA booking. Let's just assume an emergence that it's going to be Elegance brand, Xia Brookside, and Laying Lee and Fatal Influence, because they got to throw baby faces in there. So clearly that's probably what they're doing. But it's all a mess on screen. There's just so many people running in and out. But Xia Brookside is not having to wrestle. I wonder if they do she can do like a rubber run-in. There's an idea. Then we have the TNA injury report.
You have 24 hours to live.
24 hours?
Well, 22. I'm sorry I kept you waiting so long.
So Gia Miller's cleared to return to work They probably could have kept her off TV a little longer because Tessa Blanchard's not on TV, but whatever. Dude, guys, Gabby Despisa is better than Gia Miller. Like, I would be okay with, I mean, she's a huge WWE mark. She's not coming to TNA, but I would be okay with her being the backstage person. And I think Gia Miller does a good job in Explosion. Like, put her in the commentary booth, because she's, even though I'm not a big fan of her accent, she is pretty natural in commentary. And I think she could help fake Hannafin and phony Ray Wall a little bit if she was sitting in the booth with them, But Gabby Despisa does a lot better backstage, in my opinion. But we're getting Gia back. Moose is hurt. He will compete. Elijah's hurt. Jake is hurt. Jake will compete. I mean, they said Mance Warner too, and then Casey injury. I mean, Casey injury. Can you believe that? Casey Navarro, who's not even on the injury report. Like, why would you not put him on the injury report? But whatever. Next segment, he is with Dr. Asa, the originator of the 24 Hours to Live soundbite. You remember when Tessa Blanchard came out on that episode and started name dropping him, and no one knew who she was talking about? But anyway, Casey Navarro's with the real doctor.
Help! He's got a boner!
And they're doing this weird, like, there's gonna be some changes coming up, I believe, to First Class, because Casey can't wrestle, but they look like they're almost trying to tease the baby face turn, which I don't think is necessary, because what's he gonna do as a baby face? Wrestle an Ultimate X? I mean, what is there for him? Like, I don't even know why they're teasing that at all. In the match later, he was being a heel, but there was babyface tendencies, you know what I mean? And AJ Francis is talking down on him. And I think he had a match with Mike Santana or something when I took my break, where Santana tried to give him props after, but then AJ pulled him away. I don't know, man. I don't think messing with Casey Navarro's character, for the sake of, he can be a good babyface. I mean, why? Whatever. He's really actually coming into his own in First Class. I didn't like him at first in First Class, but he's very much coming into his own. So, yeah, AJ Francis tells him, like, you better show out there anyway. Find some crunches, do some crunches. Yeah. Find some crutches and come out. And then we are backstage, Elegance brand. This time we did not hear the cameraman count them in. They began their promo immediately, and then out comes, very conveniently, the director of operations, director of authority, Santino.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
There's this whole... This is like every episode. Elegance brand yelling backstage, Santino walking up, whatever. They did it when they were feuding with Spitfire. I mean, it's just like something they seem to do every single episode now. That's why Elegance is saying she's the number one contender, because Masha comes up and fake security is holding her back. And she says she's the number one contender, and that's why she got in the way. They tell Masha get back at the end of the line. Like, now it's my time to wrestle for the belt. I really thought they were going three-way here, because it's just what they fucking do. But Santino, who always lets me think and always comes up with one of the worst ideas possible, says next week Ash will wrestle JC Jane. We're going heel on heel. So that's going to be a weird dynamic. He bans M and Heather from ringside. They get involved in the match significantly less than the personal concierge does. Okay. But we're going to ban them. We're not going to ban Fatal Influence. Also heels. We're going to let them come out. But next week is going to be JC Jane versus Ash by Elegance. The winner will take on Masha Slamovich at Emergence. Now, obviously, Ash isn't going to win because she's going to defend the Knockouts titles at Emergence in some kind of triple threat. But here's weird logic, okay? So JC Jane is going to wrestle Ash by Elegance. I almost said Ass. For the right to take on the non-champion, former champion, non-number one contender, Masha Slamovich. Well, I guess you can call her number one contender because she invoked her rematch clause, but she lost by DQ, so it's supposed to not count. So whoever's going to be Knockouts champion by Emergence No. Whoever's going to be Knockouts champion after Emergence has to win 2 matches. So if it's Ash or JC, they have to win a match against each other, and they have to beat Masha. Masha only has to win 1 match to be champion. So much for champion's advantage, right? So I know I stumble over my words a lot. That's just how I am. But just to recap what I was saying, JC Jane or Ash by Elegance have to win 2 matches to be the champion after that was that show. Emergence. I was gonna call it Elegance. She needs her own pay-per-view, Elegance. And Masha only has to win 1. There's something I've noticed about the Elegance brand, which I'm a fan of. They lack synergy. And what do I mean by that? I know that they have a mouthpiece. I totally get that. Have you ever seen Heather and Ash like converse with each other? Have you seen either of them talk to M by Elegance? It seems like they are on their own. When you just pay attention to these backstage segments, they're together, but they feel like they're on 3 separate islands. There's no real interaction with one another. They're all just kind of doing their own, facial expressions and reactions, but it like lacks synergy. They just seem, again, this is nitpick and Q. Maybe who cares, but have you noticed this? You probably haven't. That when you just see them on screen, there's like no synergy. Even the concierge, it just like he's also kind of doing his own thing. It just seems like they're all independent of one another, but they're together as a group. So just pay attention to that. So if you can see what I'm talking about. But I mean, have you ever seen Ash talk to Maggie Lee before? It just seems like they don't know each other. Then we had a really, really good video package of Mara Sade.
Dracarys. Jacksonville, the community. Duval.
This was really, really good. Where they're introducing her and giving her some backstage or background on her. Very, very good stuff. They showed a bunch of former Knockouts champions. They had the audacity, fucking TNA, the audacity to show Laurel Van Ness with her Knockouts championship, the one that they had to put the Impact plate over over the front of it. That was one of the least memorable Knockouts title reigns ever. Is if you remember, she won the title and then asked to be released from her contract so she could go to WWE, which is the only company she's ever wanted to work for, and she's used TNA twice. She didn't use them once; she used them twice. All right, she's in that Matt Cardona. Fucking, I don't give a shit about this company. But anyway, they had the audacity to show Awesome Kong and all them, and Gail Kim, and then Laurel Van Ness. Why? Because she was in WWE. But very, very good stuff. And I would love to see more of this. Then they had I'm going to start getting towards the end here because we're kind of hitting my limit. I usually like to knock this down 45 minutes. We're at 48 right now. But we had the Order for Victory rally with Mustafa Ali.
If you vote for me, all of your wildest dreams will come true.
I'm always going to call him Mustafa. I can't say Mustafa. That is almost impossible for me to say. Anyway, we're just going to fast forward to the end here. Very good promo, as Ali always does. And then he says the name. Of Brother Love Handles, Joe Hendry. I got something for you guys. Joe Hendry's gimmick is say his name and he appears, right? Do you know that every single wrestler in wrestling has the same gimmick? Because every time someone's in the ring cutting a promo and they say someone's name, the music hits immediately and then they show up. It's that Joe Hendry just has a tagline for it. But something that's supposed to make him special, say his name and he appears, it's everybody. Say the Hardys' name, the Hardys' music hits, they come out. You say Leon Slater's name, the music, immediately. Santino comes out immediately. You know what I'm saying? Just the shit I notice in wrestling. Anyway, this is a good feud. Ali, Joe Hendry. That's a good one. That is that's a great direction for both of these guys to go right now. Now, who wins? That's a toughie. Probably there's going to be a rubber match. They're probably both going to get a win so that they don't get hurt in the losses. But I think it's a good direction for both. And then it showed Joe Hendry. He had like a wrestle buddy with John Schuyler's face on it, and he was at the merch shop and on the toilet with the Order 4 shirt, using it to wipe his ass. Corny as it may be, this is the Joe Hendry I miss. This the gimmick that he had really prior to this sing-song shit that he's always sung, but you know what I'm talking about, the Say My Name theme song and iTunes and all that shit. I was listening to his old theme the other day. Joe Hendry makes things better, wrestle and can sing. Something, something, something on Impact Wrestling. Like it was. I hit that note pretty bad at the end. But anyway, I like that song. So I just have better memories of Joe Hendry during those times. Like that was a better version of him. So I'm glad that we're seeing a little bit more of that here as well. So again, I think, of course, they're going to make this match happen as soon as possible, which tells us there's going to be multiple matches. We're not waiting for it. So it's, they're going to do it at Emergence. I think they're doing it next week. I mean, why could we not do this at Emergence? Like, this is actually an interesting match that is, shout out Tom Hannafin, first time ever matchup. So why not? Why can't we wait like a fucking week or two more? Probably they're going to do like they do with the Knockouts match earlier, give us a bullshit match with no finish, and then do it at Emergence anyway. That's probably what they're going to do. We'll see. We're getting towards the end here. We had an interview with Sami Callihan, Salami Calorie Ham, the bread machine. And I told myself, the only thing I want to hear him say from this interview is that he's fat.
He's fat!
I want him to acknowledge that he's fat.
He's fat!
Okay? And I don't mean that in a funny way. I don't mean it in a body shaming way. Okay? Even though I've been one of the people who've talked about his weight, and in this interview, he's saying, he was 300 something pounds as a kid. He admits to gaining 60 pounds. He was talking about the fatness. Okay,
he's fat,
and of course they're completely. I don't want to say they're no selling, but they are trying to pull back on Moose and what he said. And we're friends. He didn't mean it. I enjoyed hearing Sami talk normal here instead of his shouting voice, by the way. It was more relatable, but then they put music in the background what is this company's obsession with the fucking music? Why, if you're trying to invoke some kind of emotion out of us, just have him talk. Just let us hear his words instead of some fucking background music that doesn't fit what they're doing. But anyway, he admits to gaining 60, like I said, 340 as a kid, dealing with basically fat jokes and all that kind of stuff his entire life.
He's fat!
But of course, they're trying to say, oh, well, Moose has retracted the statements. Why did he say them to begin with? If they were going babyface with the system, why? Is there not another heel on the roster? Oh, wait, no, there isn't. There's only Ali, and everyone else just goes out there and loses matches. So maybe that was by necessity. Moose was the biggest heel, and they had to do it. But it all doesn't make sense to me. But Sami Callihan now is saying that he's considering retirement, but he's going to wrestle a match in Emergence. He's even hand choosing his opponent. He's going to wrestle, of all people on this roster, the last person who we're ever going to see lose a match at this point, Mike Santana. So at Emergence, Sami Callihan is going to wrestle Mike Santana. If he beats him, he's going to get in shape. If he's not, he's going to stay fat.
He's fat!
And he's going to retire. So I guess he has a backstage role with TNA, which I assumed he did. I assumed he was like a producer. I assume he went into the Rhino position. That's what I'm going to assume that. I don't know that for sure. I'm going to assume that. But of all the people on this roster, let me go wrestle Hometown Man. If I can't beat him, I should retire. You're not going to beat Mike Santana. Like, wrestle someone beatable, dude. You should. There's no shame in losing to Mike Santana. You can't say, oh, I can't beat the number one contender for the world title, so I'm going to retire. Like, wrestle a jobber. If you don't beat that person, then you can fire. You can retire.
Trim the. What do you mean by trim the fat?
I want you to fire the fat people. They're lazy and they're slow and they make me sad to look at.
After this, we have the main event.
Oh, and I can't count.
Since Casey Navarro could not go, because I think JDC was part of this, this became a 2-on-2 tag team match with Moose.
Damn you, Moose.
And King of the White People, Eddie Edwards.
Ooh, I'm white.
Accompanied by Alicia Edwards.
Hey, baby.
And if you don't think Alicia Edwards wasn't absolutely slaying it in that freaking dress she was wearing, I don't know what's wrong with you. You like dudes. Some of you like dudes. That's okay too. But I'm saying for those of you who don't, like if you weren't feeling this, I don't know what to tell you. Their opponents were the TNA World Champion Trick Williams.
About a magic trick.
And Big Boom AJ Francis.
Boom!
So I always seem to enjoy AJ Francis matches. It is just so weird seeing the System wrestles baby faces. Even Ali in his promo earlier was like, you cheer for groups like the System because this and this and this. And I'm just like, I think they just started cheering for the System like last week. So I don't know. To me, it's just weird seeing him as baby faces after all this time doing the heel shit. And again, calling Sami Callihan fat days. Sami Callihan called himself a fat piece of shit, by the way. That's what I always call him. But he actually called himself that time. But anyway, calling him fat, all that shit. And then they're just babyface. Hey, we're just slapping fans with the hands, like slapping hands with the fans. It's just so weird. So, man, I was getting so tired at the end of this episode. I believe Casey Navarro accidentally hit, and this is kind of leading, I think, towards the babyface turn. That's unnecessary. But he accidentally hit Trick Williams with the crutch. Has anybody ever successfully hit a move where, like when someone's behind him holding him, and then you swing with a weapon or something like that? Has anyone ever successfully hit that? It just, you know what? I did see it the other day. I was watching randomly Demolition versus the Colossal Connection was Haku and Andre the Giant. And this is when they won the titles, the Colossal Connection. And that is how they beat Demolition. Andre held him and then Haku kicked him in the face. But other than that, has anyone ever not moved? So the crutch hits Trick Williams, and then I believe he caught the spear by Moose because they're gonna tease Moose chasing the title. Moose is not gonna beat him, but they're gonna tease him chasing it. That'll probably be the title match at Emergence. I mean, that's how they justify it, right? Random challenger pins the champion, and now we've got our title match for Emergence.
Easy booking.
So that's what they're doing. Episode was fine. I need my Adderall because I cannot speak clearly without stumbling all over myself. So that's going to do it for me this week. Episode was a little bit longer. I have really got to get ready for work here. So I'm your boy, BQ. I'm out. Peace. I said I'm out.